Big almanac moment if you're paying attention now that we're through the solstice. 1 minute of daylight increase tomorrow. It's the little things, right? Especially when we're talking about a storm coming in here on Friday, which we're going to look at the European model, which did a really good job with this storm at the long and medium range. And it's just an area of snow right now across the central plains, but it will link up with this low down across the southeast, and that's when it really takes off Thursday night and into Friday, spins all the way back through Toronto. As we've established, we're in the warm sector. That's been the case. Really, we've known that since last week, that this wasn't going to be a coastal storm with a bunch of snow, but it was going to be a bit of an inside runner or cutter. Now, before we get there, as I mentioned before, it's quiet tonight and through the day tomorrow. A lot of clouds around tomorrow, temperatures in the mid-30s, around freezing in the mountains, but no issues at all. Then here comes the storm southwest and northeast, and the models have trended a little bit colder here at the onset especially, and hold that cold air longer in the mountains. That's good news for them. They will get some snow out of this. I think it's still a net loss for them, but better than nothing that they get 5 or 6 inches of snow before we change over to rain, and everybody does eventually. Friday morning, the story from Portland to Sanford down to Portsmouth and really the North Shore of Massachusetts is going to be the rain and the wind, really driving rain and wind at this point. That's our best chance for power outages probably through the middle of the morning. Middle of the day in through the mid-coast is when conditions are at their worst there. Temperatures popping to the 50s along the coastline. Notice eventually even a place like Rangeley gets into the mid-40s and they change over to rain. And it's the afternoon that we focus over down east Maine, early afternoon. And then the system is out of here. That's the only good thing about it, how quick it moves out. Watch these temperatures though on the backside. Going from the 40s and 50s down into the single digits and teens. A really hard freeze on the back end Friday night and into Saturday. So our wind map looks the same, and the heaviest winds will still be over down east and the mid coast. 65 and I do believe 70 is in play. That's why it's on the map. 55 to 65. Better chance in Portland down to Kittery, I think, than you have in Bangor, but they're roughly in the same category. And then the lowest chance of power outages from wind will be in the kind of the shaded orange there. Now, these are not sustained winds, they are gusts, and the winds will be at an east-southeast at that time. So rain looks about the same, 2 inches, maybe 3 inches in spots. Biggest flood risk will be in the foothills where there melt snow and they'll see the rain. But as I mentioned before, the snow looks a little bit more promising for the mountains. I do think they end up losing snow overall, but at least they get some, then they melt some, rather than what it looked like it could have been earlier in the week, which was just like a complete annihilation of their snowpack situation. I don't think that'll happen now. Coastal flood watch in effect, that's the last thing to think about here. That's because our high tide at 10:16 in the morning in Portland is the highest of the month. And so it won't take much wave action to get flooding, and we will have a lot of wave action. Wave models putting 20-foot waves just off the coastline. So I think flooding is definitely going to happen here over southern coastal and into the mid-coast. It'll just be a matter of magnitude. So all of that happens, and really you don't have much say over it. You either lose power or you don't because of the wind. The only advice I can give is that when the storm clears out on Friday afternoon, Friday night, if you've got salt, put it down, because everything's going to freeze hard Friday night, Saturday, and you might not get another chance at that for a while. As you can see, we stay quite cold into the medium range Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. It is quiet, but teens overnights right around 30 during the daytime. And Christmas Day itself, quiet. We'll just have to see how many power outages are still around at that point.